think that we've done this wrong. Let me back it up. It's right here. Effective impact, right? Strike impact is the force actually delivered to the target, and right. So there you go. You rolled. What did you roll on the 3 dice?
I haven't rolled.
Okay. So this is right. Strike impact, right? Equal to the impact roll from the combat table, plus the weapon impact. So you're going to roll 3 dice.
Okay.
You're going to add 3, or add 5, right? So do that now.
Okay.
That's 12.
Yes.
And so that's a 17.
Yes.
And that's settled, I think.
Yes.
For our, so that's,
What was it plus 5 for?
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
Plus 9 it should
What
be.
was it plus 5 for?
That was for the edge effect of the
It's
feather.
6.
6,
Yeah,
okay.
13.
13, okay.
And that is what's called...
Wait.
So 8. So plus 6. I rolled a 12.
Plus 6.
Plus 6, so 18.
18,
Yeah.
right. So that is what's going to be reduced by the armor.
Yep.
So that becomes 13.
Yes.
I was mistaken by looking at that minus 12 there, but that was from the monster,
Yeah.
not from...
And the dice
Right,
plus
right.
the modifier,
Right.
that's
So that's
strike
good.
impact.
Yes.
Effective impact is
Mhm.
when you after you have
Right.
subtracted the
And then when I
armor.
do the whole, when I was talking about before, is the later roll,
Mm.
whether he faints or not.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so therefore we've got the effective impact. Now for the injury determination, and we found the spot,
Yes. it
which
was
is
so.
why we needed
Shoulder.
the armor.
Shoulder.
Mhm.
Edged.
And it's
17 plus, I believe.
13
Yeah,
plus
13 because of the
Yes.
armor.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
13.
B1.
It did make 13.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Uh-huh, so
B1.
B1.
Yeah.
B1, E3.
Yeah.
Okay. These are all very nasty.
Yep.
Yes.
So first of all, E3, shock roll. Now this is what I was talking about
Oh, yeah.
before, is the injury index
Yes.
problem.
Yes.
So that's going to be 25 right there, 35, so that's plus 4.
4. Yes.
So roll 3 dice
Add 4.
and add 4. That's a good roll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that is going to exceed his endurance.
Yes.
And so he is going to hit the floor,
Yes.
right?
Bleeding.
And then
Bleed,
B1,
and then
B1.
he will start bleeding each time.
Actually, do you roll for that? No, I don't think
No, you don't. You just lose it.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
lose, and that means he's dead. So you can just stop the combat because he's unconscious and bleeding out, and
Well,
he
I'm
will
not
die.
done yet.
No.
Eric wants this in detail
Yeah.
because there are several things at work here. One, he clutches his head, right, in pain and staggers, and you slash him, missing the neck but slicing into the shoulder through
Yeah.
the clothes. He, in agony, hits the floor, right, and it's
backwards over the edge.
over the edge, right, hits the floor, and he is going to. They're made. The walls are made not to do that.
He said they were low.
No, they're not low. They're
Medium.
Low-ish.
they're made for people not to do that. Okay, so
But still see well.
yeah, and so therefore, those are the Hollywood ones you're thinking
Yeah.
of, which are all about falling over.
Yeah.
So no, not this time. So he goes down, bleeding. It's clear by the time he hits that you hit a blood source.
Yeah.
So the blood is definitely spurting and puddling. And it barely has time for you to notice that and to tell that he's not getting up when, of course, the monster descends upon him
Yes.
and is going to basically doesn't have to roll because he's unconscious and is simply going to sink its fangs into his neck and
Juice box.
Yeah.
Juice box.
and basically start draining and chewing.
Yeah.
So it's going to come up with gore, coming up off its jaws, and it's giving you a look of excellent, well done. Much more of a finally I found a human who can coordinate properly.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And who doesn't really care what you do.
Right.
Yeah.
Go ahead, sure. Eat, kill.
Excellent. So that has been achieved.
Yeah.
Now, the next question is, now you're at the top of this tower, what are you going to do now? This is actually fairly important because quite soon, the 2 + 2 equals, suspicion, active suspicion. It was a critical failure.
Yeah.
So they're going to act upon it. And impending Morgathiness.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I want to know, given what your character knows right now, and given that you definitely know you do not want to be caught here in these circumstances, what will you do? And the monster's smart enough to know that this was assassination, not full belly meal time. So therefore it will not growl and seek to feed more than, a tasty morsel or two to, tide it through till mealtime, but it's not going. And besides, it fed already in the last 24 hours.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's not going to be that fussy this time. So the question is, though, in fact, it might even just let go. It might take one more bite and basically, look at you. And the whole idea is it's going to make itself as scarce as possible, with the implication that maybe you should too.
Yeah. I'm not gonna walk down the tower, of course. That sounds stupid. Climb down it.
That's insane.
On the outside?
Yes.
That sounds good. Sounds fun.
That's a Fergal thing to do.
Good luck. How's your climbing?
68.
Okay.
Could be worse.
But you're injured.
Yeah, 15.
You should probably lose your weapons.
53. No, he can sling his sword.
Yeah, but it's still encumbrance.
That's true
Yeah.
too.
You do gain.
Just drop it.
You're going down there anyway. Nice one, why not?
Well, I'll leave it at the 53% at the moment.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I would think that defensive towers are built not to be climbed
I was
on.
talking about that. I was thinking
Yeah,
about
maybe
myself.
not.
Yeah.
And so I was wondering about that myself. It's not it's
Can it
almost an
And if
anti-climbing
it's an
surface.
overhang at the top,
Yeah,
then it
yeah.
could be really
No.
perilous.
A really good climber could do that.
Yeah.
Maybe I can.
No problem.
Is the monster still there? Still here or has left?
It will have left. It's not. It knows
Okay.
it better not stick around, and it cannot carry you. It's not strong enough.
Yeah, that was my question. Can carry me?
Yeah, exactly. Like, glide down.
Fergal was dreaming about that in the
Yeah.
past, but its strength
That's a really
is
subtle way to escape.
Yeah.
its strength is 9.
No.
Okay,
yeah.
And Fergal was more like keeping it as a cloak.
Right.
Being disguised with it. Walking around in town and eating people. That's more like a Fergal thing to do.
Yeah, this one.
So, you take a look over the edge, and you're smart enough to say, that's a really bad.
Yeah, maybe not.
Like that.
Oh, cool.
Could we have it? Wearing it like cloak.
I have another stupid idea that might work.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna make up another story. Like,
Yeah.
we were
You just have a dead.
Yeah, we were attacked.
Right.
We were both injured. I'm gonna injure myself.
Great.
Good plan.
Yes.
Yeah, like
Yes.
I cut myself and made some stab wounds in the leg or something.
Another one.
Yeah, like, not too bad, but like
Roll for it.
yeah, sure. Go for
Main artery.
Mm.
It's game for it.
Yeah. It's good. Okay.
You know, says the game designer, that could go badly.
Yeah.
In that case, column.
Yeah.
We can at least be glad there's no self-inflicted.
Yeah, exactly. Aiming for the foot and kicking her neck or something.
Yeah, we're gonna aim for the legs.
Yeah. Well, you are going to definitely hit your leg. I'm going to say that you can hit the spot you want,
Okay, so,
but the effect is a different thing entirely.
okay, so I can
So-
choose the spot.
Yes.
Yeah, but-
Yeah.
I can
Right.
aim very carefully.
Exactly, right. So not the groin.
By children.
Where are we going?
Tail.
Wings. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wings.
I think I'm with the calf.
Okay. So in that case, go ahead. Using a dagger, I suppose, or your knife.
I don't really have it, but does he have a knife on him?
Of course.
Yeah, I can take that and stab myself into the calf. But I don't really have a skill for it.
Well, that's not the point.
Okay.
In this case, it's going to be dexterity times 5.
Okay.
And he's very dexterous.
Yeah,
So,
instead it's 15. So
Right,
times
so
5.
75.
You're not really attacking
Yeah.
yourself.
You don't have physician. skill.
I do have 15 skill actually.
Could that be?
That would be it.
Yeah. It's probably
Makes
worse than
perfect sense.
dexterity.
It is worse.
But
yeah.
it would be a conscious, like, well-planned cut then, instead of...
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, if you succeed with the physician, then we're going to treat it as the lightest possible injury.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sure. So 26.
Great.
Mhm. And we'll just grade from there,
Yeah.
in reverse, right?
This is
Oh,
19.
19.
Marginal
so
success. That's not bad.
No, that's
Okay,
good.
so marginal success on an ignore,
Yeah.
which therefore, in terms of damage, we treat as marginal failure, you see. So in that case, for, oops,
Yeah.
over here, right. So basically, we treat, so it's A times 1.
Yeah.
Okay, so the knife is, I guess, a point
4.
0.4, but on the other hand, he's not, I mean, he made that roll, so I'm going to have that.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
so 2.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be 1 for, I decided it was 1 for a critical success. If he gotten a critical success, we would use it as a 1.
Yeah.
And a 2 for
Marginal.
marginal.
And then multiply.
Success.
That's fail.
Well, for critical,
Yeah.
critical, yeah, that would
Agree.
be, yeah, then we would be in trouble.
Yeah.
But go on.
5.
Okay, so that plus your various penalties and stuff still isn't going to put you over your endurance.
No, it's
Okay,
not.
so you don't
Yeah.
faint. You grimace. You make the movie
Yeah, like-
face, right? But you do not pass out,
Yeah.
and which was really what we're aiming at.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Passing out with the train's dagger in your leg.
Weird.
I'm gonna clean it up and put it back
Yeah.
back on him. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna leave the
Yeah.
evidence on
yeah, as
him.
far as injury points is concerned, it's the minimum.
Yeah.
You know, I think with a critical success, I would have done just 1 point.
Yeah.
And for this, we're going to treat it as 1d6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So that's actually what this is right here is
Yeah.
1 die.
Yeah.
So go ahead and do 1 die.
Again, damage. Yeah.
No, that was the damage.
Yes, yeah.
That was the damage.
Okay. Yeah,
So how much was it?
7.
7, right.
Armor. 5 plus 2. Armor. Right, because I...
No, you would have in order to hurt himself.
Yeah,
you would
yeah,
have bypassed the
yeah,
armor.
yeah.
But wouldn't that look suspicious? But maybe they're
But
not
it's
that
just
clever.
clothes.
Yeah, exactly.
Just clothes.
Shouldn't it be a hole in the
You
clothes?
tear through the clothes.
I
If you like,
I know. I can cut the cloth and then cut
Yeah,
myself.
yeah.
Right. So,
So
therefore,
it looks like
so
it's
you've
gonna
got
fall.
70 on the calf, or 7 points on the calf.
Yes.
Correct. Okay, and then then we do the single die.
For endure, yeah.
Right. Then by
Which
going
is-
to here, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
basically,
yeah.
it's point, and that's going to be the
Calf.
calf. That's just it's
Stumble, actually.
yeah. Double 4. So roll 4 dice, 4d6, and we're going to add 3. Actually, a fair amount. We're going to add 3 to this.
Mm.
Add 3.
And that's it.
Higher than
12, so
agility.
14. Or as you said. So 15.
So 15. Now, what's your agility?
Agility is 15.
You just barely make it. Otherwise, you would have stumbled on your way down
Oh.
and have been found. Tumbled.
Fine.
You would have tumbled on the stairs.
Yeah.
That's why I was
Yeah.
I was thinking that's perfect,
Yeah.
right?
Break
Does
his
he?
neck.
Yeah. Does he actually fall?
Yeah.
On the way down the stairs, which would have been dramatic, but also would have been very painful.
Yes.
And you would have been probably if I don't know about that, but I would have rolled.
Yeah.
And
Well,
he could easily have ended up bedridden. For
Yeah, I took serious injury when I jumped into the wagon, so rolling down the.
Oh, so you're not going to let him get away with a fall down stone stairs in a
No,
steep
no.
castle spiral?
No.
I do see his logic. Sadly, yes, and so therefore you have managed, however, to, and I think it's one of those things where you actually almost.
Oh,
Yeah.
Right, you
Yeah.
slip and
Yeah.
catch yourself.
Yeah.
Actually, maybe that was a bad idea, sort of.
Yeah.
And so there you are, coming, bleeding,
Yeah.
colorfully, if
Yeah.
not clinically,
Yeah.
and you are face to face with people, who are looking at you very suspiciously.
What's the stairs for?
No, they're
boy staring.
They are staring at you in a very unfriendly and you're up to something kind of way. And so
I just got attacked by a monster. The person's dead.
yeah, that's not helping your case. Go ahead and roll your rhetoric. No, this is oratory for a group.
Oh, yeah, it's a group, yeah.
And you are not in a great state
No.
for this. What is your skill?
31.
It seems to me that a minus 10% is a
All right.
very appropriate by the rules penalty.
34.
Ugh,
Okay.
marginal failure. Right. So that means they're not going to execute you on the spot.
Nope.
But they are going to seize you.
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
And
Torture. Then
yeah.
execution.
and yeah, I suspect that your fate is not a good one.
Mm.
I think we're closing out the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that we're going to end up with King of the Dead here.
Yes.
With you in very, very desperate circumstances. And the
Yeah.
monster, thinking about it, saying, well, I think I've got as far as I can with this.
That's fun.
This was a good vacation. Let's go back home.
No, these townspeople are very, very different. These people prey are a lot harder than I thought.
Yeah.
And
That turns out, as it turns out.
and you're on your way for a new economic adventure of some
Oh,
kind.
yes, of course.
And to go elsewhere, to leave the country, basically. So yeah, I think that's kind of where we end up logically.
That's pretty fun.
Yeah. Poor Reseda.
It will, it's game back.
Hanwha next.
That's right. All it takes is 3 or 4 player characters with issues, and
Or just
anywhere,
one. Yeah.
any community will fall.
Yes.
Yeah.